February 2026. Inside Islamabad's Rawalpindi garrison, top Pakistani generals are crowded into a war room, tracking targets on live satellite feeds. They are finalizing the logistics for a massive, coordinated cross-border military offensive. These heavy airstrikes are aimed directly at the ruling government of Afghanistan, the Taliban. The generals in that room are bombing the exact same regime that their own intelligence agency, the ISI, spent decades training, funding, and empowering. The human cost has been immediate and devastating. In just 15 days, border clashes and airstrikes caused at least 76 civilian casualties and displaced over 100,000 people. The violence even spilled into a hospital near Kabul, which was bombed right in the middle of Ramadan. Pakistan is currently waging a full-scale war to destroy its own proxy, and ordinary citizens are absorbing the impact. The speed of this collapse is jarring when compared to August 2021, when the Taliban marched into Kabul and retook control of Afghanistan. The Pakistani government openly celebrated. Pakistan's former Prime Minister, Imran Khan, publicly praised the takeover. He stated that the Afghan people had finally broken the chains of slavery. This raises a central question. How did Pakistan's ultimate geopolitical victory mutate into its greatest national security nightmare in the span of just 5 years? The relationship has inverted. The regime Pakistan spent decades building is now the very force threatening to dismantle it. The arrangement started in 1994. Pakistani ISI officers approached a madrasa teacher named Rilla Omar and offered him a deal. They would supply the weapons, the money, and the training he needed to conquer Afghanistan. This map illustrates Pakistan's core motivation, a concept they call strategic depth. You can see Pakistan wedged right between a hostile India on its eastern border and what it hoped would be a friendly, newly aligned Afghan buffer zone to its west. For decades, Pakistan played a dangerous double game to keep that buffer intact. After 9/11, they publicly supported America's war on terror, while secretly channeling money and providing safe havens to the Taliban. That double game eventually triggered a violent internal blowback. Radicalized students from the ISI's own madrasas, furious that Pakistan was publicly aiding the Americans, splintered off. They formed their own faction, the TTP, also known as the Pakistani Taliban. The TTP has a single, uncompromising objective: overthrow the government of Pakistan and enforce absolute Sharia law. Over the years, they have executed relentless terror attacks across Pakistan, resulting in thousands of deaths. The TTP became the flaw in Pakistan's grand strategy. The weapon built to control Afghanistan is now violently aimed at Islamabad. Pakistan has one clear demand to end the current war: the Afghan Taliban must eradicate the TTP. But the Afghan Taliban refuses. Instead, they provide a safe haven for the TTP inside Afghanistan, treating Pakistan's worst enemy as a friend. The Taliban's refusal is a matter of survival, driven by the presence of a far more dangerous rival in the region. This raises the question of direct action. Why doesn't Pakistan simply march its army across the border and wipe out the TTP itself? Pakistan holds total air superiority. They control the skies and can drop bombs at will, forcing Taliban fighters to rely on unconventional retaliation like kamikaze drones. But an aerial advantage does not translate to a successful ground invasion. The harsh, mountainous terrain of Afghanistan is built for prolonged guerrilla warfare. The historical precedent is clear. The Soviet Union spent 10 years trying to conquer this terrain with conventional military force, and the United States spent 20. Both lost. Pakistan cannot secure a victory on the ground, and the Taliban cannot afford to move against the TTP. Both sides are locked into a perpetual border conflict with no military exit. If you look at the macro geopolitical picture, you find a final irony in Pakistan's strategy. The primary reason Pakistan funded the Taliban in the 1990s was to keep Indian influence out of Afghanistan. Today, the Afghan Taliban is actively signing trade agreements with the Indian government. Indian companies are securing construction contracts and building infrastructure projects right inside Afghan territory. The Taliban now views India as an important strategic partner, ignoring Pakistan's regional goals. The doctrine of strategic depth has completely collapsed. Pakistan's grand anti-India proxy has allied with India while actively sheltering terrorists attacking Pakistan. Experts define the future of this conflict as coercive diplomacy, an endless cycle of violent cross-border clashes and temporary ceasefires that solve nothing. Pakistan is trapped trying to put out a domestic fire by setting its neighbor ablaze, with no military victory in sight and innocent civilians caught in the middle.